So I have 4 graduate degrees, 3 of them I did not need. So I guess that would be an unusual route. When I studied neuropsychology at my graduate school, and when I did my internship at UCLA, neuropsychology as an entity wasn't an offered major or track. So at that time, it may even be surprising, and I may be dating myself a little bit, but when I was an intern at UCLA, pediatric neuropsychology was not a designated track. It is now. We have multiple trainees at various levels, but I had to carve some path for myself to be able to specialize in pediatrics. And I was lucky to train at an institution that gave me that flexibility to join a training track, but then within that, be able to carve out particular experiences I wanted and be able to work with the mentors that I wanted to. My inclination is to say accidentally, but there are no accidents, right? I think it started off because I was very interested in how we become who we are. I spent some time in London during college, and I made me change majors from biochemistry to psychobiology to then finally psychology. And I thought, okay, I'm interested in how people become who they are. I'm interested in the biological factors. I'm interested in culture. I'm interested in the evolutionary roots of how we become who we are. And I assumed that that meant that I was going to be a psychologist and do therapy. So I enrolled in graduate school in clinical psychology. And within the first year, I realized that I didn't want to do therapy. The therapy I found was very draining. It was really hard for me to connect like that and do back-to-back sessions. That's when I met one of my professors who ended up being a long-term mentor for me, who introduced me to development and assessment and neuropsychology. And that was like, wow, that, you know, the exact combination I was looking for, the study of brain and behavior. I wear several hats. So part-time, I'm in academia, and within that, I do a lot of clinical teaching, which I love. I do clinical work. I do research projects with multi-sites and big groups of experts, primarily focused on brain injury. I do some writing, and along with all of that, in my academic role is some administrative work as well. I oversee the neuropsychological services of our concussion clinic at UCLA. I also have a very busy private practice. So I do a private practice in clinical neuropsychology. I specialize in kids. That's the age group I just love. And for me, working with kids in a neuropsychology context is like every kid is a little mini project, research project, right? There's a concern, there's a question, and my job is to understand what that is, collect information, spend some time putting all that together to be able to explain to their parents, their teachers, or other clinicians what's going on with them and how to help them. I think I would say the very things I like are also the things that I find challenging. And I'm sure you'll relate to this, right? Is the flexibility, the wide range of things I can interact with, from my personal practice one-on-one with kids, to the work I do in a large medical center, to the work I do with folks like you on, you know, really cutting edge big projects that couldn't be done without everyone's expertise online, is really fascinating. It's very motivating. It's very energizing, but it also is the challenge, because I'm constantly feeling like I'm spread too thin, and, you know, work never ends, right? So I sometimes wish I had more of a traditional job. Again, I would say that I pursued a PhD in clinical psychology with the idea that I was going to do therapy, and a whole range of doors opened for me that I didn't even know about, let alone plan in advance. So the where I ended up was really an evolution from the beginning of the program to the end of the program. I ended up choosing a subspecialty that I didn't even know existed. I think academia has its benefits. Again, uh, biological and human research is at a point now that, you know, where no single group or specialty can answer the complexity of questions that need to be addressed. So an academic center allows me to work with amazing people, one of whom is you, to be able to do some heavy lifting in terms of moving research along. There's no way to do that individually, nor would I want to. On the other hand, sometimes I find academia to be laborious and slow. It has become extremely bureaucratic. And so it's a challenge to, you know, have ideas, to be wanting to move things along, to be able to do good work, but feel like there's a lot of hurdles to jump through. I would say follow your curiosity and your nudges. They will never lead you astray. Ask lots of questions, talk to people who do things that you're interested in, do internships, volunteer, be very open. Again, where we think we're headed may be so different than where we actually end up, just because we don't know the entire path.